Welcome to Midlife Mojo, the podcast all about how to be fit and flourish in your 50s, with me, your host with over 25 years of experience in the health, fitness, and wellness industry, Lisa Dupree. We'll be talking about all the things that support living life to the fullest. Let's dive in. Hello. It feels so good to be back. I hope summer brought you some joy, some rest, maybe even a little adventure. I took some time to recharge, reflect, and refocus, and it was glorious. It really helped me open up the space to just rejuvenate, but also get creative and create something new that I've been thinking about for a while, and I cannot wait to share it with you. So if you've ever felt like you know what to do for your health, and maybe even your body transformation when it comes to eating well, moving more, sleeping better, managing stress, but you still find yourself stuck in those same patterns or not seeing the results you want, you are definitely not alone. This is one of the most common struggles I hear from women over 50 that I work with. And here's the thing, it usually isn't just about your food choices or what your exercises look like. There's something deeper going on beneath the surface, and that is exactly why I created a brand new tool. It's the Weight Loss Archetype Quiz. So let me tell you a little bit about where this all grew out of. Over the years, I've worked with so many women who come to coaching feeling frustrated. They've tried numerous diets, different exercise plans, all kinds of detoxes, taken piles and piles of supplements. Like, you name it. I bet I've talked with someone who has tried it. Like, there's so many options out there, right? You know, a lot of the time they start out really strong, but then they kind of just lose that motivation, or they lose focus, or they burn out. Sometimes there's so much out there that they just spend weeks, it turns into months, and it turns into years, like researching, okay, what is the perfect plan? And they just never really get going, never really put that rubber to the road and get some traction and see results. Others just end up putting everyone else's needs first and feel guilty about carving out time for themselves. And so they don't keep going. They don't stick with it long enough to see the results they want. So I realized something powerful. When you get down to brass tacks, as they say, it isn't really about those food choices or the workouts at all. It was about their unconscious patterns and mindset, the ways that they naturally approach challenges and change. And when I started helping clients see these patterns, it was like a light bulb just went off, right? Suddenly, they had a better understanding of why they kept hitting the same walls, getting stuck in the same areas. More importantly, it made the coaching that we were doing on the specifics that come down to eating, exercising, how you're sleeping, how you're recovering, how you're managing stress. All those things really began to fall into place because they could work on noticing patterns, blind spots, but also use their strengths to finally make progress. And that's really what inspired me to sit down and create this weight loss archetype quiz, so that you can start getting that same level of clarity. And it's available for you to take right now. It's completely free. It's just a few questions, and it's at lisadupreecoaching.com/quiz. Now, in this quiz, you'll learn which of the 5 archetypes best align with your mindset and approach to weight loss and wellness. Each archetype has its own strengths, and these are strengths that each one of us can lean into. And each archetype also has its own stumbling blocks, things that might be getting in your way that maybe you're not aware of. And so I'm going to walk you through these 5 archetypes. And as I do, just notice if any of these things sound a little familiar, or maybe a lot familiar. So the first one is going to be what I call the Nurture Navigator. So you might be a Nurture Navigator if you find yourself reaching for food when life feels stressful or in situations full of emotion. And that can be both positive and negative emotion. So food really becomes a comfort. It's almost like a hug when you really need one the most. And this is because, nurture navigators have a really caring, empathetic nature, and that runs really deep. That is a beautiful strength, and sometimes that compassion for others can work against you when it comes to your own goals. And so that's the first one. And that's one way that emotions tie into eating and overall wellness. And there's another type that's not so much about comfort, but it's about searching for something more. And that's the fulfillment finder. And you might be a fulfillment finder if you ever catch yourself like going to the fridge, not necessarily because you're physically hungry, but you're going into the kitchen, you're looking in cabinets, you're looking in the refrigerator, not because you feel that hunger, but because you're looking for something. You're not really sure what, but you want something, but you're not necessarily finding it easily, right? It's not like you're craving an apple and you can go in the kitchen and grab an apple real quick, right? You're really tuned into your emotions and craving satisfaction, even a deeper satisfaction in life. And the challenge with this is that food can easily just sneak in as a substitute for fulfillment. And we can easily look to food for that satisfaction, but really trying to make it fill a void that it was never meant to fill. And so while the fulfillment finder is looking for more, some of us are still stuck following old food rules. And those are things that keep us from truly feeling free. And so that brings us to the balance seeker. You might be a balance seeker if you were raised with a lot of food rules, you were told you had to clean your plate before you could leave the dinner table, or there was a certain amount of shame around different food choices or different desires when it came to food. If that sounds familiar, you could be a balance seeker. You really value harmony and you value consistency, which are really wonderful strengths, especially when it comes to realizing your overall health and wellness goals. But sometimes those old rules and those habits around food can creep in and make it harder for you to listen to your body's true signals. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, there are those who hesitate to change at all, not because of rules, but because of fear or uncertainty. And that brings us to the confidence builder. And so if you sometimes hold yourself back from making changes, like you're either worried about failing, or you're worried about shaking things up too much, or you're worried about what others might think, that's the confidence builder at work. You've got a thoughtful, steady nature, and once you put that to use in service of your goals in a way that aligns, it's exactly what makes long-term success possible. The trick with the confidence builder is giving yourself permission to go all in. And then finally, there's the archetype that absolutely refuses to be boxed in by any rules of any kind. And this is one that I so very much identify with. And this is the freedom forger. And so you might be a freedom forger if the strict diets or rigid meal plans just make you want to rebel, right? You know that flexibility and that personalization is key. And you thrive when you can create your own path. And so the challenge with the freedom forger is it's really easy to get pulled off course by quick fixes or the latest shiny new plan, or just feeling too constrained and just kind of like letting it all go because you're just like, I can't live like this. So those are the 5 archetypes. So you have the Nurture Navigator, the Fulfillment Finder, the Balance Seeker, the Confidence Builder, and the Freedom Forger. And so you might already, beginning to see glimpses of yourself in one of these descriptions, or maybe one or more of them. And here's the fun part. You may be surprised about which archetype truly describes you. The best part is that you won't just find out your archetype when you take the quiz. You'll also get tailored insights into what's been holding you back, and then also how to leverage your unique strengths to move toward accomplishing your health and wellness goals. And so here's my invitation to you. Go take the quiz. It's completely free. It only takes a few minutes, and you'll walk away with an aha moment that helps you see yourself in a new way. And you can find the quiz at lisaduprecoaching.com/quiz. So whether your goal is to lose belly fat, build strength, or simply feel more energized and confident in your own skin, this quiz will help you understand yourself better and give you a starting point for real progress. And here's the best part. Over the next few episodes of the Midlife Mojo podcast, I'm going to be diving deeper into each archetype. So you'll want to know your results before we get into those episodes. I am so excited to be back with you after the summer break, and even more excited for the next few episodes of this podcast. Midlife is a time to step into your power with the wisdom you already have and the support you deserve. So head on over and take the new weight loss archetype quiz at lisaduprecoaching.com/quiz, or click on the link in the show notes, share it with a friend, and then come back next week when we're going to start exploring each archetype. Until then, get out there and keep your mojo rising.